heading the AI lab at the VUB, so the Vrije Universiteit Brussel. And yeah, we are studying a lot of AI techniques, but my personal interest is more into reinforcement learning and multi-agent systems. I'm also part of the steering committee of the Belgium CLAIRE office, so I'm quite actively involved. I learned about it through the mailings of CLAIRE, and yeah, that it is important. Well, I already heard from my PhD student and also the contacts I have within Flanders that it is not so easy for policymakers and also the general public to actually understand the dynamics of epidemics. So I thought it would be good to contribute to this insights. The topic is on epidemiological data analysis. So it's on the one hand on the modeling part, but also another aspect of the task force is how can you then, based on these models, support people who have to take decisions. So also what are possible strategies? So you can learn them through AI, you can learn a variety of strategies, and then you can offer these possible options to policymakers. Well, there were about 15 members, so members who were more into the modeling part, others were more focusing on predictions, and others then more on decision support. We also had a member on high performance computing, because of course these models and if you want to do the decision making, you need quite a lot of computing power. So it was a quite diverse team of members for this one. Well, what I find interesting is well, how the AI people were involved in this COVID pandemic in the different countries. So everybody had a bit of different experience on how the data was collected, how they got access to the data, how they could interact with the medical people, because at the end it's and also the policymakers, because at the end it's very important that it's not the AI who decides what to optimize for. We are typically confronted with a multi-criteria problem. So on the one hand, you have the health issues, but you also have economical aspects you have to deal with, well-being of people and so on. And how also in the different countries the policymakers approach this balance of criteria somewhat differently. On the one hand, we have, of course, the importance of being able to share data very quickly and in a better standardized way. Okay, this is something we are quite familiar with in AI, so we know how to deal with this. But I think that indeed the second aspect of what should your AI optimize for, and that this is now very clear in this pandemic, that here the stakeholders and the policymakers really have to be involved, and in order to get their involvement, or at least that they are able to express what is important for them, what would be a good solution for them. You have to find ways to actually let the AI communicate with them. So we talk today about transparent AI. So also here, this is, to my opinion, a very important element. So how can you actually get them into this process? Because AI needs an objective function to optimize. Well, but you have to, of course, get this objective function, and it's typically kind of cycle, because people cannot say what they want if they don't see the possible options. And so by showing them the different possibilities, they can express better what they actually want, and it's a kind of loop that you, an iterative process. And this is still a challenge, how you do this in a good way. What they need to know from the AI, and how you can facilitate this process and also optimize this process. And try to converge to a good solution in a few iterations.